All right, welcome back to another episode of Footballing with Ben Roethlisberger. I am Ben, he is Spence, and we are here post-Super Bowl for our 2024-2025 football season footballing wrap-up show. So this is the last episode of the football season. Now, that doesn't mean that we are ending this show because we're going to keep it rolling.
Hey,
we're like the Eagles D. We're just going to keep sacking them.
Hey, there you
we're just going to keep doing it. No, we are going to keep the show going, but this is kind of the wrap up to our football season. We'll talk Super Bowl. We'll talk what went right, what went wrong. We'll talk about the football game because what went wrong was the commercials.
Yeah, I know. I tuned in, and this game kept interrupting all the commercials. Right?
We will talk commercials. We'll have a top 7 list. We've got some beers that we got from Giant Eagle, and thank you, Giant Eagle, for sponsoring this football season and footballing. We really appreciate you guys and all you did for the beer, the food, and being a part of this journey with us. We look forward to hopefully partnering up again next football season. But we are very thankful for you. Evan will be down at some point with some amazing food, I'm sure, that he got from Giant Eagle. So thank you again to everybody, Bill and all those guys over there at Giant Eagle, Chef Mario and everyone that helped contribute to the show this year. So thank you for that. I think the family dinner this week is, and maybe moving forward a little bit, is going to be some fan interaction, right? Some fan questions.
I just thought it's a Footballin Family Dinner. We got the Footballin Family, but they never show up at the dinner.
Yeah, it's weird.
I'm like, why don't we get the Footballin Family Dinner with the Footballin Family? So that's what we'll be doing today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. And let's start off with a beer.
Well, luckily for you.
Yes. I can't wait.
I have some. So here's the deal.
I'd be ready to wait.
Here's the deal with these beers.
Oh boy, okay.
All right, they're quasi influenced by the current NFL MVP. Right, Josh Allen takes home the crown. Somewhat controversially, I would say. Some people thought Lamar earned it.
That's who you talk to, yeah.
Yeah, but these are from Ellicottville Brewing Company.
In Ellicottville, New York.
In Ellicottville, New York.
I know that place. I snowmobile up there with Jim Kelly.
There you go. So I thought, you know what?
Our buddy Chris Canole goes skiing up there.
That's right.
I think they were just there.
Yeah,
see? The Conleys.
So it's a beautiful location and honestly a really good brewery. We've had some of their beers before. Very good. They make an IPA that's really good. If you've not had that, you can check it out. And honestly, if you're in the area in which there's a Giant Eagle that sells beer, I'm almost confident you could get it there. Because I got all these at Giant Eagle. Now, like I said, I like the brewery. It's a great brewery in my experience. Now, I have not had any of the 3 beers we're going to try today.
That's dangerous.
And I found the ones that I thought would kind of be the worst.
Why would you do that?
I'm going to be honest. Well, just based on names, like the first one we're going to do, it's a bold choice, Spence, trying to do this one first. It's called Chocolate Cherry Bomb. It's an imperial stout with chocolate and Oregon sweet cherries. Get past the first part. There's Oregon sweet cherries, bro. Come on. Get past the first part, man. Don't worry. It's 8.2%. And I just thought, like, listen, today is a rough Monday for Kansas City Chiefs fans. It is. And I thought, misery loves company. We would accompany them by drinking.
This feels like a punked show.
A punked episode.
And it feels like when the fans used to send in shows because they used to like
to
see me tortured.
Dog, look.
Like Patrick Mahomes in the pocket.
Yeah. I guess that was 6 times. We're only going to get hit 3 times today. We got 3 beers. This is brewed to entertain.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Entertain your face when you make weird.
Okay.
I'm so excited. Yeah.
So let me manage a little bit of expectation for you, my brother. They're all going to be a little rough today. Yeah. But it's been a while, man. We've got a lot of really good beers.
Stupid.
In this, oh Lord.
I don't even look at it.
We've had a lot of good beers recently.
Me. Just
that won't help the taste buds. So this is doesn't smell good. I'll give you that. Chocolate Cherry Bomb.
I'll throw up. I don't even know. Okay.
Here's
here's the weird thing. I like chocolate. I like cherries.
That's what I said. That's why I got
You know
it
what
for
I don't
dog.
like? Imperial stouts.
The rest of it. Come on, man. Yeah, I'm looking out.
They're going to smell delightful too. Watch this. Nope. Doesn't. Well,
Immediate.
hold on.
It was immediate.
No. See, the problem is I smell the chocolate and the cherry, and those do smell delightful.
Right.
But the stout hits me first and foremost.
Yeah, that'll do it for you. That'll do it for you. Go for it, my brother.
No,
You want me to go for
I'd rather not.
this? Hey,
I literally have goosebumps. Like I just
Honestly?
got the chills.
honestly, this was probably a bad choice.
Yeah, probably. What do you mean probably?
All right.
It smells a little bit like a dessert once you get past the stout.
That's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
You just went all the way down with it though.
I'm not hanging out with it. Come on, bro. It's not. I'm not going to drink the rest of it. Oh, you did halvesies, dude. That's not. See, not great.
Yeah. Okay.
Not with you were not going to order it, but it's
Okay,
not
so
as
the
bad as you thought.
The interesting bad part, I don't know if that's. Okay, yep. So here's the problem. Yep, this is what I thought. Oh,
It lingers a little bit.
it's lingering strong.
Yeah.
So when I smell it, I smell the stout early.
Yep.
But then the chocolate and the cherry lingers with me, and that's a good linger. When I taste it, I gotta finish this.
Oh yeah, it's still there, bud.
So when I taste it, the initial hits you with the chocolate and cherry first, which you're like, okay, not bad. But the stout just sits there forever.
Yeah, that's
Mom, meatloaf. Ma! Oh, yeah, no. So, yeah, the initial, I literally, I have goosebumps.
yeah. It does that to you.
It's sitting there for a while.
Yeah. So I will say this: if you like stouts, you probably would love this. Mm-hmm. I think if you like stouts, the cherry would bother you. To be honest with you.
Yeah, but just get past the first, because again, the first thing I taste is chocolate and cherry. And I'm like, okay. Tastes almost like a, like at the holidays when you get the box of chocolates
Yep.
and you don't know what, you kind of like bite, like, oh, what am I going to
And
get?
you never know what you're gonna get.
It's like life.
You know what I mean?
And you throw it and you're like, oh, nice, cherry. I like that one. It's a good one. That's what you get when you first try it. And then all the rest of the stout just sits there. It's like life. When things go well, they don't always stay going well.
So this seems like a metaphor.
It's like the Chiefs. Things were going well.
Right.
Tasted well. And
Yeah,
then they got sacked.
That's not my favorite beer we've ever had. I think if you like stouts, you actually would really, really enjoy that one.
Like I want to like scrape off my tongue.
Go again.
No, I'm not going again.
Maybe
I've drank some water. I've drank a different beer.
maybe it's subtraction by addition.
No,
You know what I mean?
absolutely
No?
not.
All
Because
right.
then I'm going to be burping it. Yeah,
Yeah, we
you
better
guys
have some,
might
like-
like that. Some people, it's a very unique,
Beal would love that.
probably. Yeah,
Beal would sit
his
there.
with his little Buckeye necklace on, and
He'd be sitting there with one of them chalice joint. You got one of those cups, those little baby
yeah,
chalices
I do.
somewhere?
He would enjoy that.
Yeah.
Probably the scarf on from the fire.
Oh yeah, definitely. Beal's
Weird.
big scarf
with
guy.
that thing. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, Beal's a
Okay.
big scarf guy.
That's weird. I'm sorry, you guys that are listening to this, that you just hear me in the mic, because that's not.
Yeah.
It's not where it's at for me this morning.
I'm also sorry we spent 5 minutes talking about that,
Oh,
guys.
yeah, sorry, everybody.
But speaking about things that are good and bad, let's talk about Seven's top 7.
Oh yes, we got
All
to get
right.
to that, don't we?
Because the Super Bowl happened, and that's going to take up a majority of the show.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I know you and I are always excited about when the Super Bowl comes around, and we don't care who's playing in it, Super Bowl commercials.
I mean, who doesn't love the commercials?
I mean,
You go through years where you have like just some nothing good.
Right.
You have years where it's like good. I think this year there was good, there was bad, there was some confusion. So I did a top 7 list. I kind of went in no particular order. It's hard to really do an order because like I like that one. It's not.
Sure.
You can't really do like this is it and rank them. So I did a top 7 Super Bowl commercials from this year, in my opinion. And I have a couple like ones that we'll just kind of mention that were honorable mentions. We'll do that at the end
that's fair.
again.
That's fair.
But again, in no particular order.
okay.
Okay. And there's a little bit of a theme with my picks, and whether that's because of this show or because it's just the marketing genius that is these companies. But maybe people will see what the theme is.
Yeah.
Okay. So in no particular order, we're just going to go from 7 to 1. And I'm going to start with the Ultra commercials with the pickleball. I love when they were playing the pickleball.
Oh,
It was William Dafoe, I believe. And I think it was Dafoe. I can't remember her name.
O'Hara. What's her name? Scarlett O'Hara.
What was it?
Kevin!
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Playing everybody in pickleball.
Yes.
Love it. The next one I thought was cool, unique. I thought the Lay's, the little farmer, where the little girl picks the little potato up off the thing, she buries it, plants it, grows a potato, puts it on. I just thought
it's adorable, right?
It was cute.
Key element, adorable.
Number 5, I went with the Bud Light cul-de-sac with Post Malone, Peyton
Shane
Manning.
Gillis.
He said, "You have a what do you say? You have a grill that you have a mower that grills or a grill that mows." I forget how he did it, but I liked it.
That was a good one.
Anyway, the next one I put on my list, most people might disagree with me, but I'm a fan of the movie, so I went with the Haagen-Dazs Fast and Furious, where they're cruising down the
Not so
beach.
fast,
And not so fast. I like those movies, so I went with the Haagen-Dazs ones. Next, I went maybe some controversial, but I think the moral of the story is good. Was the Pfizer boxing cancer?
Dude, listen,
such a good one.
I got so bummed out when I found out it was Pfizer.
I know we all did.
I was like, man, this is adorable. I'm like,
what a great
Pfizer,
commercial!
You got me.
What a great commercial.
Yes.
Number 2, I put the Coors Light with the sloths. To me, there's something funny about sloths and like everything that happens with them. I loved it in Zootopia.
I was going to say Zootopia.
We were laughing. The kids were laughing. So I went with that one. And then my what ended up being number 1 was the Budweiser. You can't beat the Clydesdales.
Oh,
the
classic.
baby Clydesdale getting the keg that fell off. And a lot of these commercials too have stories that are like there's a longer version, which makes them, because I thought the Dunkin' Donuts commercial at the very beginning was kind of weird, but then there's like a 7-minute version of it, which is better.
Right.
So anyway, those are my top 7, and a couple honorable mentions are ones we can hit on real quick. I thought the Instacart Take It to the House was good.
Clever.
Yeah, the Uber
clever.
Eats one was really good with Matthew McConaughey when he's like, "What are we going to call wings from Buffalo, Bill?"
Yes.
Buffalo Bill. Like, it's like that was clever. The Little Caesars eyebrow one was unique, but the Pringles did the mustache thing too. So I didn't put them on there because I was like,
hey, somebody
weird to me.
Somebody double dipped. I don't know if like the ad agency went to Chat GPT to get the ideas and they both landed on it. Somebody double dipped. Somebody in Pringles is like, oh my gosh, Little Caesars did it.
And it went first.
My gosh, Little Caesars did it.
And it went first, and like our commercial was about to come. How do we edit it? Because they both were pretty good.
It's just the same ad agency and like, hey, listen, we got this idea.
We're just gonna run with it.
Little Caesar said they'll do it, but I think it might.
So anyway, I thought those were good honorable mentions. I thought my unique one, well, 2. I want to talk about 2. One was a local commercial, but the Mountain Dew with seal as a seal.
Okay,
that kind of creeped me out. It was a little weird to me. I didn't know what to think.
Well, I texted you. I said this has to win. What is it? Most ridiculous thing a celebrity was willing to do for
seal as a seal.
As a seal, your whole life. Your name is Seal. Your whole life you get Seal jokes. And you said, you know what? I'll sell it to Mountain Dew.
I'm just going to go with it.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, he did it.
Good for you, man.
I thought that one was I have question marks by that one. And then the other one was the local one, the law firm that put a little hit on Coach Tomlin.
Dog. Okay.
So I want to know, here's what I want to know. First off, if you watch the Super Bowl, obviously it had to be like
100%
regional. But in what, like, tell me, if you were in like Ohio, did you see it? If you were in Kentucky, like how far did it reach? So let me know how far the Mike Tomlin, like it wasn't they never said his name, but
they didn't have to,
obviously when you're a local Pittsburgh law firm and you say something along the lines of, we don't fire underperforming coaches.
Yeah, listen.
I mean, what are we talking about?
That came, obviously it was local because of the subject matter. The first tell of it being local is, I don't know what they used for audio in that. It sounded like they just used the camera audio from across the room, brother.
That's the production.
You didn't notice that?
I didn't notice
and
that.
I'm not trying to throw shade, man. Like I'm over here figuring it out too. But this is a Super Bowl ad. Google it, how to make audio sound better, brother. Because it was, and then I thought the same thing, and I don't want to give it too much shine because I thought, come on, man, what are we doing?
It's rough that he went there.
It's like, what?
That's rough. Hey.
I'm so glad you saw, because I didn't even know who to talk to about that. I felt like I needed to talk about that, and I didn't even know who.
When it happened, I was like, okay, this is local.
Hey, kudos to you guys.
Then they did it. I'm like, wow, they just no fear. I guess they don't have a sponsorship with the Steelers, or not going to get one or looking for one.
No, they might be sponsored by the Browns. So after that, that might be a Cleveland law firm after that.
Wow. So anyway,
but good for you guys, man. Sticking to your guns.
There's our commercials, our sevens list of top 7. In no particular order.
That was a solid list, man.
Yeah.
I think I do think the commercials though were kind of underwhelming this year in comparison to years past. I feel like it was like good.
You have to have like, for each like commercial block, was it like 3 or 4 commercials?
Yeah.
If you don't get, I think at least every block there was at least one that was okay. I like that one.
Yes.
There's been times where I'm like, there was no good ones in there. I also feel like in years past you've had like Doritos would have multiple, Bud Light would have multiple.
Right.
They would kind of throw multiple. It feels like there was only maybe one of each one. I mean, there might have been some other, but that's just what it feels like.
30 seconds cost you $8 million, bro.
I get it.
Which is crazy.
Which is crazy.
$8 million for 30 seconds.
It's crazy.
Like, what's the ROI in that? Like, I mean, obviously you assign marketing budget and stuff like that, but I'm like, what are you gonna do?
We can't do one. We can't afford one.
Giant Eagle. Do you want to?
They had a local one. The meat. Yeah. That's from Findlay, Ohio.
Come on now.
That's from Findlay, Ohio.
Look at that.
I know.
We should do one. Take 30 seconds and just sit here, eat Evan's food. At the end, boom, Giant Eagle. That's the whole thing. We'll do it like Kanye. Kanye shot it on his phone.
Yeah.
There you go. Or the law firm shot it on like a point and shoot in 2006. Like, yeah, I think that
okay. Next year we'll think about it.
Football. What should our Footballin Super Bowl commercial be?
No. Something flying away.
Yeah, something flying away for sure. I think you know what? Your beard. That's the only facial hair that didn't fly away this year.
Yeah. It might be going soon anyway.
Oh yeah?
It might be. I don't know.
You just getting over it?
It's the end of the football season. Football season's over. Hunting season's over.
Yeah. Is that what you use it for? I can't grow
I can mask. I can camouflage my face.
35 years, all I get is Patches O'Houlihan, bro. I look like the Kmart brand, like Captain Jack Sparrow. I just get this move going, and it's just, dude, well, it's not good.
Keep the baby face then, bud.
Yeah, well, I'll have it forever.
You're good. Stay with it.
Thanks, man.
You're
Thanks.
fine.
I'll look 18 forever. I'm okay with it. But talking about the Super Bowl, let's move on to the actual Super Bowl because I didn't expect it to happen like that. Mm-hmm. Part of me, I didn't know who I was rooting for until I started spelling the word Eagles out loud. Yeah. Like the first touchdown, I was celebrating. I'm like, oh, I guess I want the Chiefs to lose. But what are your thoughts watching that, brother?
Well, I mean, I don't know. So I made 2 videos pregame. Yeah. You only put one out there, right? My prediction?
Yeah, your prediction.
Which was right.
It was right. They did score the
Whoever
most.
Scores the most points is going to win. I did do another video that was kind of my thoughts on the game, right? Kind of a pregame showish. And I wish that we had done it because people are going to think I'm lying.
Oh, you should have told me, bro.
It's okay.
You said take whichever one.
Saying.
Send it out.
Just saying. I want people to know that I said this. I emphasized that the Eagles defense was very good.
Yeah.
Okay. Did I think it was going to be that, like they were going to dominate like that? I don't know about that, but I mentioned the Eagles defense. What kind of answers would Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs, Andy Reid have for the defense? I mentioned that I thought that they were going to try and do some Saquon, but that, I think the Chiefs were going to make him stop. They're going to stop Saquon and make Jalen Hurts win with his arm, which I thought he did.
Yeah.
I thought he did a good job. And my number one key to the game was how was Jalen Hurts going to play? And I thought Jalen Hurts played a great game. He didn't make mistakes. Maybe it wasn't the flashy where it's like, everything was perfect, but he played a really good football game and he did more than just enough. Some people say just do enough to win. He did more than just enough. It helps when your defense is just completely dominating the game. I think there was some sort of, was it 6 sacks? Mm-hmm. And they didn't even they blitzed once or not even once. I mean, like that just talks about how dominant a front 4 is. They're twisted and having games up front, but how do you not have answers for that? I mean, you've got a couple all pros up there on the Chiefs line, some good players. And, at some point you've got to leave a tight end in. You got to have a back step up. You got to do something because they just created issues.
Yeah.
I think part of the issue too was at one point they had 3 rushes, maybe in the whole first half, the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's you're getting one side, and you're getting one side obviously because you're down. But to me, as I was watching at halftime, I'm like, man, this feels like a Steelers offense. Like, in terms of like production.
Yeah.
Obviously they're trying to run the ball more, but it was like, man, they couldn't get a first down. They couldn't sustain drives. They didn't even get past midfield until halfway through the third or into the third. Like that's crazy for a Chiefs team with Patrick Mahomes, who is arguably one of the best quarterbacks to play. I know that was a debate going into it. If he wins, where does he fall on the GOAT list with Tom? And you just don't expect him to just completely shut him down. I mean, it wasn't even like it was close.
Right.
It was shut down. Obviously, pick sixes don't help. Turnovers are always a key to the game. But man, I didn't expect it to go like that. I expected the Eagles defense to be dominant because they were built. That team was built around that defense. Mm-hmm. Their GM did a great job of bringing guys in. I wish we need like a stat guy in the corner, right? But like, I would love to know, do they have, well, I mean, it's not, I don't even know how fast you can find it, but what is their defense? Do they have any of the highest paid anybody's? Do they have the highest paid D lineman, linebacker, safety, corner? Or did they just build a team around a bunch of really good players that are like mid to high tier guys? Like obviously I know they've got, Slay on the outside, who's a really good player. And I don't leave anybody out because I'm not great with all these names, but they build a team that is just built around that defense. And when you're a team, when you're a quarterback, and I've been there, my first year and my first time going to the Super Bowl, in my first couple of years with the Steelers, we had a great defense. We had a great defense in 2008. Both my Super Bowl wins were great defenses. And that really helps you as a quarterback because you get to play more free. You get to play where it's just like, it doesn't really matter what I do because I know they're going to pick us up.
Right.
Now you still have to produce on offense, but I just think that defense was something else, and that won the game. I would have, Jalen Hurts deserved the MVP, and I'm not trying to take anything away from him. But like, if you want to like joke about something, give the MVPs to the 4 defensive linemen or whoever else rotated in, like 5 or 6, whoever it is. But those guys they completely dominated that game.
Yeah, that was wild, man. Obviously, they were going into halftime. Was it 24-0 at halftime? Mm-hmm. At what point are you watching it, just based on the lack of Kansas City's productivity? Mm-hmm. When did you know that game was over? Because it wasn't like, hey, man, we're still in it and we're just down. It was like, brother, you're not doing anything. I
thought the interesting part, too, was it was at the end of the half where they took a knee. They had, I think, 2 timeouts and maybe 20-some seconds, 26 seconds, 24 seconds. Tom Brady made a prediction, like just take a knee, get in at halftime, take your lead and go. And I was like, I definitely see that. I wouldn't have been so, and I know what they were going to do too, because Ashley asked me, like, what did they talk about? I'm like, well, that first play, they handed it to Saquon. It's kind of what you do when you have that kind of in-between time. You're not sure if you want to try and hurry or if you want to just take a knee. You usually call like a screen, a draw, some sort of a play, and it's like, if we break something more than 10 yards, then we'll use our timeouts, then we'll try and score. Sure. So they gave it to Saquon, see kind of what would happen. I just felt like, man, you're up 24, you've got 2 timeouts, your defense is just completely dominating right now. I would have loved to have seen them like go, take one more shot to figure something out. But again, I know what they're doing. They're preserving their lead and being smart. But I don't want to say that at halftime I'm like, it's over, because who's on the other side of the ball? You've got Patrick Mahomes, you've got Andy Reid, you've got a team that is there for a reason, is one of the best teams in football all year. But when you've got a defense playing, as well as the Eagles were playing, I'm like, it's going to be hard. Mm-hmm. When you build a lead, it's going to be hard. I would have felt differently if it would have been like, okay, the Eagles offense was playing really well and the Chiefs just weren't making plays, but there weren't plays to be made. I mean, they were getting sacks. It just wasn't like, the Chiefs were screwing up all the time. It just, there was nothing there. There was no time for him to extend plays. I thought rush lane integrity was huge. So what I mean by rush lane integrity is, as a D lineman, you can twist and make moves, but your kind of spot, your rush lane is like from here to here, right? If I end up getting out of my lane because I think the quarterback's going to go, well, if I, as an end, if I rush too far and too wide upfield, well, now you're creating step up lanes, right? Especially for someone like Patrick, you got to be careful. Runners like Lamar, Josh Allen, guys that can really hurt you with their legs, they'll step up and run. But what I thought the Eagles did is they had rush lane integrity where they never got too wide, lost that thing. So when Patrick went to step up into those lanes and those holes, there was nothing there. There was a guy waiting for him. They were able to retrace their steps. I just thought that was, I thought they played with a lot of discipline on their D-line. A lot of times you get guys that are just like sack hungry, and they're like, I'm gonna do a little something extra. I'm gonna get a little wider here. I'm gonna duck under here, and you lose that integrity, that discipline. And I thought just from watching it as a layman point of view, like not rewatching film, is it just seemed like they did an unbelievable job of integrity, rush integrity, and being disciplined.
Yeah, I also want to appreciate you pretending like you're a layman watching the game.
Well, I mean,
like
don't
just
watch
as a fan, like, not
watching extra.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And I will say this before you go to the next thing, because well, the very first note I wrote from the game was, I thought when the Eagles had the ball, I think it was the first fourth down, they threw a deep ball down the sideline to A.J. Brown. They called it offensive pass interference. And my parents came over and watched the game here, and I remember looking over and being like, oh boy, here we go. And because obviously the talk all week and leading up to it was how the Chiefs have gotten the benefit of calls.
Yes.
I don't want to call it bad refereeing, but the benefit of calls going their way, whether it's on Patrick, whether it's on anything.
Yes.
The team has been getting a lot of calls. And then all of a sudden you get an offensive pass interference that was not an offensive pass interference. I'm sure Chiefs fans are like, yes, it was, but no, it was not. They were fighting. Did he brush his face? Yes, but that is not offensive pass interference. They called it, and I was like, oh my goodness, here we go. Here we go. Like, I'm like, this is going to be, and I know that the commissioner was at the game, and he had to be like,
come on, guys, I'm never going to live this down.
Oh my goodness, I had to answer questions all week about this. We would never favor, and then that happens. Nobody had to feel smaller than the commissioner at that moment.
Sure.
Because he's like, I got to answer this.
So, okay, I was texting you while that happened. Let me ask you this then. Like, that call was absolutely ridiculous. Comes early in the game and a very important play. Do you think because it was clear, I mean, Tom Brady was calling it out in the booth. Do you think because it was clearly a wrong call, they're like, hey man, you got to take the foot off the brakes. You're not calling anything. Because there was there was one time when I thought like you probably could have given Patrick roughing the passer.
Yeah, he got hit in the face of the wall on the one.
And he just didn't. But
ball
then,
was out.
I don't know that they got any favorable calls that you could even begin to question.
I mean, yeah, maybe.
You think
maybe
it influenced?
I don't. Gosh, I don't know. I hate to say it, maybe, but I mean, they did get I think 2 or 3 penalties on the long snapper.
Sure.
For like, and that's the old Danny Smith trick. Danny Smith perfected him and Greg Warren, and then it passed on to Christian Kuntz, where they would have this little thing where they would get guys that jump. They have a little thing, and if you're a crafty veteran long snapper, you can get away with it. And so obviously they were told to watch that because there were a couple times where the Chiefs jumped, but they called it on the long snapper.
Right.
Right or wrong, I don't know, but that's like almost like the makeup. Like we got to call something.
Sure.
We'll call a field goal where they can still make it.
Well, what was interesting, man, is that you had talked about last week, I think it was, the crossing routes that, Andy develops that uses as picks, and they ran when they caught Juju on one.
Got to be acting on that track. Juju knows that.
And what was funny is when it happened, I was like, dang, there it is. But he went out of his way to tag him.
He did a little more than usual. Like
he's stopped and got in there.
Yeah, got a little hit on him.
Which I don't think he needed to do.
Probably not.
Like his defender was running into the defender. He could have gotten away with that. But
yeah, that's why you got to be good at doing that stuff. But yeah, I would like to say this, that I don't think officiating had any effect on the outcome of the game. Right?
I agree.
Now, part of that's because it was a blowout.
Right.
But I'm glad. You never would have wanted to see that because you're talking about the Eagles just dominating and winning, which is what you should be talking about because that's what they did. You're not talking about, well, they won because of this or they lost because of this or whatever. So for that, I'm grateful that it was, we can just talk about a football game.
Yeah, one thing I'm interested in, man, every time of year this pops up, I'm always curious about your personal experiences with playing in the Super Bowls that you've played in. Like, because one thing that's crazy to me is that it's such a production beyond the game. Like, obviously, for sports fans, like you and I don't care who's in this Super Bowl, but we watch because we wanted to see, hopefully, a good football game. But there's so much pageantry surrounding it, the week leading up to it. I mean, really, since after you win the conference championship, from that moment on,
it's 2 weeks.
It's a whole thing, bro. As a player, how do you stay focused and competitive in the midst of all the pageantry.
Well, you're a competitor, so it's easy to do that. I think you benefit from enjoying it. You know, like soaking it up. Let yourself kind of go there for the first kind of week, because you got the Pro Bowl in between, or whatever that was. Was played last week.
I think they still call it that.
Okay. But you've got it's every single sports show's talking about it. All the celebrities, everything. It's a big deal. So it's okay, I think, to let yourself get wrapped up in it.
Yeah.
Because if you sit there and say, nope, I'm tunnel vision, I can't think about anything else, then you're going to end up driving yourself almost crazy. So having fun with it and enjoying it, when it's time to go to practice or watch film for those hours that you're doing that, then you can block everything out. You're in a meeting room, you're in your practice facility, whatever it is. You can block all that out. But during those other times, I think you should enjoy it. You should enjoy the pageantry of the whole thing. Even pregame. I mean, the pregame is longer, and you're on the sideline. You're seeing oh, there's a celebrity there. Oh, there's a musician there. There's someone there. It's it's hard not to get wrapped up in it a little bit. I think the key is once the ball's kicked off, can you either flip a switch, or even before that, you have to be able to say, okay, now that's all. I'm blocked out. I'm straight tunnel vision on what we're doing. Because it's different. You've got longer half times. Halftime, I remember, our typical halftime is so fast. You get in, you barely have time to see a doctor if you need to. Maybe grab a small snack, like a protein bar, an orange, banana, something like that. For halftime Super Bowl, they bring in sandwiches and food because you're in there.
The hot
and
bar, yeah.
There's definitely more to it, and you're sitting there and you almost get cooled off too much, but you've got to just stay. During that time, you got to stay super focused. You can't worry about, I wonder what the halftime show is. How's it going out there? Let me peek in on my phones and check social media. You have to stay super dialed in. And so it's definitely a unique experience, but I think you never know if you're going to go back. I know we can sit there and laugh because, the Chiefs have been there 5 or whatever, how many times. But you have to appreciate it like it's a one and only thing. Because you just don't know if or when it's going to happen again.
Yeah, I think that was the craziest thing watching it, is because we were talking before we started filming. I think Pat's been in the league for 7 years.
Yeah, I think so.
And 5 of the 7 he's been to the
mind blowing. I mean, it's unbelievable.
And it's one of them things where I didn't even think I heard him say that. Oh man, because you got to really slow it down and appreciate it, because you don't really. These don't come around too often. I was like, brother, you've been here 5 times.
I know.
What are you talking about?
But you got to keep saying that, because you don't know if this could be the last one.
It is true, right?
I get it.
And that's a crazy thing, man, because I feel like Jalen's not in his working contract. I don't even know when he got drafted. I feel like he's a newer quarterback, like Jalen Hurts.
Well, he went a couple years ago.
Right, but I don't know what year he is in his contract. Yeah. So, but I'm curious. The reason why I'm bringing that up is because I'm curious about the effect that going to the Super Bowl early in your career has on you, because you come out of college and you're balling out in college, right? Especially if you're a quarterback that gets a starting job in the league here, and then you have immediate success, which you got to have, and then it kind of frames your entire career in an experience that is the 1%, I would say, of the NFL experience. What effect did that have on you going to the Super Bowls early in your career?
Yeah, I mean, I remember my it would have been the first year, because we were going to the AFC Championship game, and I remember a player, I think it was Chad Scott, a defensive back who was here at the time, got up in front of the team, was like, hey, y'all need to understand and appreciate what this means. I've been in the league for X amount of years, and I haven't had this opportunity again. You don't know if you're ever going to get it again. Appreciate it. And I remember the time, it being my rookie year, and then the next year, I remember him saying that and be like, okay, yeah, I'm all dialed in and focused on it. And then we lost. And then the next year, it's like, okay, we're going to the Super Bowl again. I'm like, well, I thought we weren't never going to happen again, and you win it. And my only regret is I wish I would have loved to have had an opportunity later in my career, with my kids being able to potentially go to it, and just appreciating being able to look back on your career, to have something to frame the beginning and end on would have been amazing. But it's definitely something as a young guy, or 2 younger quarterbacks that are there. Call them young, I guess 7 years for Patrick and a little bit less for Jalen, but. I just think that it's something where they're going to appreciate it. They've been to multiple ones. In their minds, I think Jalen's probably like, all right, we're going back next year. We got, I don't know what their team looks like, who's coming back. But when you do it, you know that there's a huge bullseye on your chest too. You know that teams are coming for you. But the great ones can overcome that. You know, you see what the Chiefs have done every year. They're like, yeah, they're coming to get us, but we're going to prove that we can do it. After you win that one, you just, it's hard not to be like, okay, I can relax, because now that everyone, like I said, everyone's coming after you. So you almost have to relax for a second, but then it's like, I got to turn it up another notch to try and get back. But I guarantee the Eagles are feeling like we're going to run this thing back.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's the mentality you need to have.
Yeah, I think if their team looks like that, they will. Yeah, that was one thing too. One of the storylines that came out of this week that was really interesting to me was, had the Chiefs won it, they would have been able to go to 4 different Super Bowls and beat 2 different teams twice, the Niners and the Eagles.
Oh, wow.
Right, and so, and one thing that popped out about that storyline was Jalen Hurts' screensaver.
Okay.
He had on his phone a picture of him walking out of the Super Bowl that they lost, the first Super Bowl they lost against the Chiefs, with all the Chiefs confetti coming down, and he kept it there as a reminder of coming back. And what's really cool is, you know, you get to finish the narrative.
Right.
Having been a part of winning and losing the Super Bowl, man, what is like? Can you weigh into that experience, man? Obviously, winning one, you want to get back and do it. How much more so leaving under somebody else's confetti?
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think when you win it, you don't think about anything else. You don't even think about the team, the other team. Like, what are they going through? There's no thought of that. There's no thought of like, I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have played differently. You know, it's just like, we won. I don't have to think about anything else. We won. When you lose, the difference is all you can think about is, what could I have done differently?
Yeah.
How could I have played differently? What about this play? What about that play? And then you're only thinking about, you're thinking about that, but then you're thinking about you are thinking about the other team.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you are thinking about. You're like, they're over there.
Wonder what kind of champagne they got.
Yeah, like, man, you're mad at them. You're mad at yourself. But when you win, you're thinking about just, you're celebrating and this, that, and the other, you know? So for him to put that on his screensaver and have as a kind of a motivator, it makes sense. It would have been awful to have that on there and him like never go.
Yeah.
Right. And have that on there forever.
Right.
And be like, this is the last picture. I'm going to change that picture at some point. But no, I just think there's definitely a different feeling between going and not going, and that post celebratory feeling. I don't know if one makes you more motivated to get back. I guess everyone's probably a little different. I think losing it makes you like makes you angry. Winning it makes you just,
you're like, come on, man.
Yeah, you feel different.
Well, too, and welcome, Evan. Good to see you here.
Yeah,
this is final thoughts before we get into this smorgasbord of looks like the cow zone. We're in the cow zone right now.
Board.
Is Coach T talked about football justice, right? And you had this moment of like getting back and winning it for Jalen. I would imagine been really, really cool. Getting back and beating the Chiefs is like football
better than
justice.
That. Yeah. I guess that would be the most complete full circle,
right?
And actually beating, and even more so beating the quarterback and the coach that beat you. Like, if it would have been a different,
right.
You know, if I beat that team, but it's a different quarterback, different coach, all those, then you would feel differently. But getting back and it being so close to that same team,
right?
I would agree with him that it has to be a little more sweet than if it wasn't.
100%. Welcome.
Hey, Evan.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm okay. I fear I came down a bit early.
No, you're fine.
We're just blabbering about
we're just talking about the
who
game.
knows what.
Yeah. Did you watch Super Bowl?
Oh yeah.
Were you cheering?
I was. I loved it. Every second of it.
So you're sitting in your chair cheering?
Yep.
Okay.
It was
Who are you rooting for?
anybody but Mahomes at that point.
I saw a kid. I was at Bodie's basketball game.
Jeep.
And this kid had a shirt on that said anybody but Mahomes.
I have the same exact shirt, and that's what I wore.
Unbelievable.
What?
They were so funny.
What? Before we get into this, I'm curious about the Mahomes hate. Why?
Look, it's like the same thing with Brady.
You just
know?
punch up. You punch up the guy. Yeah.
I guess. And then, there's little mannerisms and things that he does that
the flops. You can say it. You said it once.
Not just the hand motions and the
What is that?
And the running.
What is that?
Like
My wife is like, hey, why does he do that? I'm like, I don't know why he does a lot of things.
Evan, give me more.
It's just
Is it because I know the huddle?
irritating.
What's this one?
It's a tick. It's a habit now. I don't know.
Did you have any of those?
It's a habit now.
What did he do on it?
Nothing.
No.
Yeah, nothing
Dilly
like that.
dilly.
Dilly.
Hey, Billy.
Have we told the Dilly Dilly story over here? I'm sure we have at some point. Anyway, I'm sorry, Evan.
That's
please.
okay.
Evan, what do we have here besides calzones?
Okay.
3 calzones.
3 different calzones. This one
Like
right.
a surprise, like we had to bite it and tell you what it is.
Yeah, well, that would be fun. We could.
You want to do that?
We might screw up though.
Yeah, you might. Yeah,
I'm definitely gonna get
It's
it
definitely
wrong.
not plain. It's not like peanut butter and jelly.
they're
No.
not. No,
But this one's a little
that
green.
goes on
Like
waffles.
it looks green coming
That's
out.
the basil.
The basil.
Yeah, that one is a lemon basil ricotta and meatball calzone.
Okay.
The one in the middle is a Cajun horseradish, cheddar, mushroom, roasted red peppers. And then this one on the end here is a buffalo chicken. Nothing special.
That sounds very special.
pretty special to me.
Well, compared to the others, it's not.
I mean, this one's super fancy. But
Yeah, it is.
I think this one's gonna go first.
Probably.
You know what I mean? I was like,
You're right.
just
You're
to be honest with
right. You're right. I get
Evan,
that.
thank you.
Jeez.
Thank you.
Good news.
What's that?
We've gotten a lot of fans excited about our travel show.
I'm excited about it.
And so we are going to do it.
Let's go.
Okay.
I'm ready.
You're not,
gonna start
do
packing.
you know though that you're not cooking on these shows? You're just eating?
I'm just eating.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Even
And then
better.
everyone thinks you eat a lot. Wait until Chef Evan dives in. Not a word will be spoken.
Like Ben's
Hey, Evan,
fine.
what do you think?
Ben's fine. Yeah, Ben's fine.
You got something in your beard, Evan.
Yeah, you just.
I've
yeah.
been there. Don't worry.
Yeah, right?
It happens.
That's why I don't grow. And it's not because I can't. Don't listen to the beginning of this episode.
All right. So yeah, we're going to be excited for that. So we'll keep you posted.
I'm excited too.
All right. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate
We
you.
appreciate you. Ev.
No
You're
one
the
out
best.
pizzas the Evan.
No one else beats us. The Evan. Come on. Now we got.
I just made that up.
dude. That
Did
you
you
should
really?
sell it to somebody.
I don't know. It might be a good one.
That's a solid one. That's a what?
Not if,
Infringement?
not if you just say it. You're
I don't know.
fine.
I think it's like you got to be 15% different.
Okay.
I think is the law.
Oh, is it 15%? That's it, huh?
I don't know how you manage that.
Okay. I'm gonna.
Enjoy.
Oh, thanks.
No,
Evan.
thanks.
That comes back down.
Can we get a hat for Evan that just says enjoy?
Yeah, of course.
I ask you that like I'm not the one that's going to design that.
We'll figure it
Hey
out.
Ben, you think we could get
Yeah, for
this
sure. Spence, will you
thing,
design
like-
some for us? Take that.
Oh, thank you, sir. That's
Go
not
ahead.
a knife.
If you have
that's
ask me
annoying.
another question while I do this, while I divvy this up.
Yes. Oh well, thank you so much. Well, here's the deal.
I don't want to keep. I want to keep going because we're gonna do a beer too.
Yeah, so I'll crack the beer, and as we had promised, the Football and Family Dinner brought to you by our good friends over at Giant
That was
Eagle.
really bad on me.
We're going to jump to the Football and Family. So we're going to dive into on Instagram at Football with Ben. If you are not already following, go ahead and do that. On Instagram, we put out a little love, said, hey guys, we appreciate you. We're taking some football and family questions. All right, so we're going to dive in. I'm going to pick these at random here. Let's see if we can't. There are 25% of these that. Now, I know you've addressed this at some point in time.
We can just move on from those ones. 'Cause
Not
that's
going to
not bad.
coach, Ben, you're saying? You're not going to coach. I'm going to take that.
Nope.
I'm going to take that as a no.
Nope.
All right. Besides Super Bowls, this is from Blake Keezy. Sorry if I mispronounced that, Blake.
Blake.
Besides Super Bowls, what was the favorite game that you've ever played in?
Ooh,
Favorite game?
man. See, these are going to be tough to think about. Sometimes, I mean, obviously, the next obvious one would be like championship games, but I would say a lot of times my favorite game of the year would be the first one, right? Because you're like, we're getting back into it. You're just excited for a new season, and so you could. I can't. It's such a specific question. It's a great question, Blake. Thank you. To think of like one specific one that really meant a lot, it'd be really hard for me to think of something. But first games of the year were fun. I think about like at the time it probably wasn't fun, but looking back on it, like that Dolphins game in the snow because you're playing in the snow. But yeah, any first game of the year would be probably one I would pick.
For any reason? Just because you're ready to get back to it?
'cause it's like the first game of the season. And you're
Yeah.
like, let's go. Like let's get into the season. You're ready to go win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Week 1.
So this is from Nate, I believe. Sorry, Nate. I think it's Nate. What is the biggest change the Steelers need to make to become a real contender this year? Also, love you, Ben.
Thanks, Nate. Love you too, bud.
In your opinion.
I think they need to get a more productive offense. You've got a defense that has the tools. You've paid the guys. You've got some of the best in the industry at their positions. I would like to see an offense be more productive. Got to score points. You've got to be a team that stays on the field. You've got to be an offense that converts third downs, which obviously keeps you on the field. Of course, everyone wants to see a team that scores 30, 40 points a game. But if you can be just efficient, protect the ball, possess the ball, you can go up and down the field and keep your defense off. And, you can win with 17 points if you've possessed the ball. And yeah, you're going to want, there needs to be games where you win 17-14, but you possess the ball and you dominated on offense, but you just didn't score. But you kept your defense off the field. Your defense was able to rest. You were efficient. You converted third downs, and maybe you just got down there and, didn't necessarily put all the points forward. Now, it can't be every week, but you need to be an efficient offense. And that's why I'd like to see a more efficient offense.
Well, you've had some pretty efficient offenses in your career, and this is from Tanner. It says, who was the most underrated receiver Ben has had as a teammate throughout his career?
Wow.
A receiver you thought didn't get the shine they deserved. What do you think? You had some pretty good ones, bud.
Some really, really good ones. Man, I'm going to feel bad because the show's going to be over. I'm going to be like, oh, I should have said so and so.
Sure.
Maybe we'll have to take it to the IG after that. Is that your Instagram?
Yep. Yeah.
I would probably say, again, just off the top of my head, either. I thought Jericho Cotry was such a good. I didn't get to play with him long enough. I wish I could have played with him a lot longer. I thought he was just a really good teammate, really good receiver, great slot guy. Really brought a lot to our team. And then I don't know, one of the first ones that came to my head, and maybe people will disagree with me because maybe they'll be like, he got a lot of credit, but maybe that makes me feel like he should have got even more.
Sure.
Was Mike Wallace.
Yeah.
Burnell was just. He could just flat out run, but he could do more than just run fast. Like he just was such a weapon. Like he affected defenses even when he wasn't catching passes. Like they were always like, man, we got to know where that guy is. Safeties always had to be looking, always had to be deep. Again, maybe that's not a going, but I would say that Mike was a very, very good receiver, and maybe in my opinion didn't get the credit he deserved.
You're talking about affecting defenses. Connor wants to know, what was the most challenging defensive scheme or defensive team to go against?
Oh,
do you have just one?
Yeah, partly.
Or was it like a coordinator you hated to go up against?
Yeah, partly probably because we played them quite frequently, and they were really good. Was Baltimore, and physicality and this, that, and the other. But they were confusing. They had guys all over the place. They would create defenses that we had to create calls for, like blocking schemes. Like what is the trio and different things that the first time you saw it, you're like, what is this? Next time we'll be ready. And then they changed it up again. So going against Baltimore was always hard. And again, part of that might have been because of the rivalry, but it was tough. It was tough.
Yeah.
By the way, that first calzone was really good. The meatball one.
Doing a little sampler, huh?
Oh, yeah, I'm just going to do a little bit.
All right. Well, this is from Matt. Going back to some of the Super Bowl memories, just because you happen to hold one of, if not the greatest play in Super Bowl history. I think if it's not yours, it's definitely Debo's. All right. When he's talking about that specifically, he says, when you threw that money ball to Santonio in Super Bowl 43, did you know at the time it was arguably the most insane throw in Super Bowl history?
No, I thought it was the dumbest. Because we didn't need a touchdown. I've seen a touchdown to win, but field goal ties. Probably not a smart one to throw in all that traffic, but wise coaches always say it's your balls and our guys are nobodies, right? So you put it up there where only your guy can make it. If it's a little high and he doesn't catch it, you live for another down. But you give him a chance to make a play, and he made a play. And I think looking back on it, the more I watch it, or I say the more, but like looking back and seeing it again, the more you realize, man, that was a really pretty good throw. And
I would say
a great
so.
catch. I mean, everything just by watching it, the whole play was pretty amazing.
Yeah, there was one spot you could throw it, and you found it there. And that's taking nothing off of the incredible catch that, Tone did. So Kelly wants to know, because this year.
Sorry, by the way.
Yes.
Thoughts and prayers from the Footballing family to Santonio Holmes. I'm not going to put his business out there if people don't know, but it's been out there. But love you, brother. Thinking about you. You're in our thoughts and prayers.
Definitely. This year, Steelers have announced they will be traveling.
Hey, look at the Irish.
You're following the rainbow down to Ireland, Mike.
Hey,
they will be going to Ireland this season.
William Wallace.
And is that Scotland?
Like Scotland, my bad.
Yeah, that's all right. One of the lands, as long as it's not Cleveland, all right? Am I right? Kelly.
To you.
Yeah, Kelly wants to know. Well, Ben, will you be traveling to Ireland?
I don't know. Depends if they want me to go.
Like the Irish people? I think they would appreciate it.
No, that'd be awesome. I'd love to go visit get a little fresh Guinness over there. Or Carlsberg.
Carlsberg.
Shout out to my boy Murph. But no, I don't. I have no idea if I'm going. We did that cool little promo for it, which was a lot of fun. I can't believe I threw that ball all the way to Ireland.
I know. It was his first one too, right?
It was. I wasn't warmed up.
Wow.
Yeah, it got there though. It was a little low, but it got there.
Good receiver.
I don't know if it's. I don't know what's going to happen if we're going to go as a family. If I'm going to go, if we're not going to go, I haven't really given it much thought yet.
Yeah. Okay. Well, when you do, and if you decide, I'm sure you will be the first to let the football family know. Yeah. So there's a lot of things about the game that you love, right? There's a lot of memories and stuff that we've talked about on this show, and it's been really cool to hear you share those stories with teammates as they come on and grace this show with their presence. I'm also going to slide this down to you, and we'll get to this in one moment. This is the second beer. But Cody Powers wants to know.
Not Kenny Powers?
Not Kenny Powers. It's Cody's his brother. He's bounding up.
Oh,
yeah.
Gotcha.
So what was the worst part about playing in the NFL? Was it preparation, film study, getting hit? What was it? A lot of good. What is the bad?
A lot of good. And obviously you could sit and say, okay, the time, right? Like there's a lot. People don't realize, they think it's just you go for like an hour or two, do practice and leave. Like there's a lot of time. You're getting up and you're putting that in. But again, I wouldn't say that's the worst. You know that's part of the preparation. To me, I would say the physicality of it, right? The soreness of your body, the effects that I'm still feeling. Obviously, a lot of players feel for years after they get done playing. Knees ache and shoulders ache. Sleeping, you wake up every couple hours because your shoulders are aching. So the physical toll it takes in your body is definitely probably the worst part of it.
Yeah, I believe that. That is crazy to think. And I think that's one thing that is the closer you get, like you watch it on TV and it seems like because you guys' jerseys come out clean every week that you guys are back to 100%. You're like, oh yeah, I'm working through something. For sure. And you don't realize, but when you get to have relationships with guys that play that game in real life and you're like, you come home from work and the next day we come down here and just talk about it or chop it up or whatever, you have a beer and you limp down your stairs, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, in 6 days you have to go do that again.
Yeah. I know. What I mean? It's unbelievable.
That is a wild reality, man.
The Eagles are going to be a little different next year. Kellen Moore, their offensive coordinator, just got hired as the Saints head coach.
No way.
So that'll be some already. That's what happens when you all win. Everyone benefits.
Kellen Moore went down there for a job interview, so he went.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, dude, I mean,
I know. Good for him. Good for that. I told, hey Bart, you mad that the Cowboys got rid of him now?
Yeah, for real.
Tell me about this beer though, real quick.
Yeah, so this beer right here, obviously from Ellicottville Brewing Company. It is salted caramel Coldspresso.
What do we have? What are we doing?
Hey, don't worry, don't worry, because it's ale brewed with specialty coffee.
Oh.
Yeah, 6.3%.
I want to have after my dinner anyway, a little coffee.
I thought calzone coffee. You had to get that down quick, brother.
I'm awful.
It's bad when you chase it with the calzone.
Awful. I don't like it. Don't like it at all.
It doesn't smell good.
Oh.
Yeah, you would hate that.
Yeah, I do. I did.
That's not that bad, though. I'm not going to... It's a weird flavor when I think about a beer. I don't really want to taste that. But
And I like chocolate caramel. I'll take the other one over that one.
Really? Mm-hmm. Oh, 'cause that coffee's still there.
No, not me. I got Buffalo Calzone.
Me, brother. This next question, man, as we keep going, we'll take a couple more as we're chowing down. With the Footballin Family, it's from our good friends over at Creekside.
Oh.
Now, Creekside wants to know, we've done a Steelers Mount Rushmore before, right? Mm-hmm. Where we see, what is Ben's Steelers Mount Rushmore? What players would we put up there? What is your beer Mount Rushmore? Obviously, we've sampled plenty here. You have plenty of inventory here to choose from. If you had to pick a beer Mount Rushmore, top 4, right? There's 4 guys up there?
I think there's 4.
Yeah. Who would you put up there? And maybe why? Why would they get a spot?
Well, I would say if it was Brendan Conley's, it'd be like Truly, anything that has
White Claw,
those kind of fruity things. I, on the other hand, would choose
Gasoline.
Coors Banquet.
Oh yeah, that gets spot.
Coors Banquet. Coors Banquet. And probably Coors Banquet.
You're going to put 4 Coors Banquets because you're not just going to drink 1 Coors Banquet.
No, who drinks 1 Coors Banquet?
Right.
Yeah, you know what? I might put a Yingling up there. Give me 3 banquets and a Yingling.
3. That's a good night.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good night. Get yourself a little burger too.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
It'd be too hard for me. I mean, I couldn't even begin. That's another question that I have to think about. But I'll take 3 banquets and a Yingling.
Yeah. Okay. Solid. Drinkable.
And I know that there's
No IPAs?
That's what I was saying. I know someone's gonna be like, well, no, there's definitely some IPAs I'd put there, but off the top of my Full Squish is a nice IPA.
Cinderlands, yes.
But golly, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
That's it.
We'll ask you again tomorrow and see how it changes, right? So this is from Jesse Wayne. There's been a lot of news, obviously, with the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback situations, back and forth. One day they love him, one day they hate him. We don't know who's it going to be. It's the old shell game. He wants to know, which quarterback does Ben believe would be the best option for the Steelers next year?
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it seems like every day, we're getting a positive story about Russell Wilson and what's going on and him coming back here. And then the next day, it's a negative story about Russell Wilson and coming back here. And then it's a positive one about Justin and then a negative about Justin. It's just like, what in the world's going on? So I don't know when there'll be an answer for all this. Again, I'm going to go back strictly on, I'm going to make it about money. I think the important thing is, which guy could you get here for less money so that you could go get either like a free agent wide receiver, you could spend money elsewhere. I think you have to figure out what your long-term plan. Is it a quarterback that's still in college, that you're going to draft? Is there a guy out there that you think is your long-term answer that's not in the draft? Are you willing to move up in the draft? So all that being said, those are all questions that would need to be answered by the higher-ups at the Steelers. I would start with, okay, who's going to probably require me to pay them less money? And it's probably Justin Fields. Does that mean that Justin is better than Russ or better fit for the job? I think both of them bring positives and some negatives to the table, which every player does. So when it's all said and done, it's going to come down to how can I best utilize the money that I'm saving to go elsewhere on the team.
Do you think do you think both guys are capable of this job?
Yes, I do.
So it doesn't matter.
I think both guys are. I think both guys have pros and cons and different things, but so I don't. Yeah, I mean, I think if whichever one they decide, if it's one, it might not be one of these guys either. Who knows? If they decide to go with one, I think that's. I don't think it's a wrong choice. Truthfully, truly, you get the veteran guy in Russ. You get a guy that can, all of them are going to should be better next year if it's the same offensive system, right? You get a year better, you're going to be better. So each of them are going to probably play better.
Well, and that's what's interesting too, man. Because if it's neither one of those guys, does drafting a young buck to come in? It doesn't feel like that's a wise move because you're not high enough in the draft to get anybody that can come in and handle it.
Right. That's going to be the key. Do you think there's a quarterback in this draft? One, that's good enough you have to move up for,
right?
Or that you think is going to be there at your pick, maybe there's a second tier guy that you think is good enough that can be maybe not your franchise guy for the next 15 years, but could be a guy for 7 or 8 years and be just enough, be a guy that fills the void. I mean, you could go get a guy, there's Will Howard from Ohio State, or there's a couple guys out there that I think are capable guys, but if you surround him with great receivers, running backs, you've got a tight end, your line is built, like if you surround them, then you can make a good quarterback become a great one. Maybe not elite, but great.
Right.
And so I think there's an option there if that's if you really feel like it. Or if you say, okay, next year's draft class is really deep, let's wait for that. So let's see what we have this year and just get through it. So and I haven't looked to know if next year's draft class is deeper than this one, but it's just a matter. I think you could get a guy that's like a second round guy or whatever and make it happen. I mean, they took Kenny in the first round, which congratulations, Kenny Pickett. I know he probably wrote a letter to the Steelers saying thank you. Appreciate y'all letting me go. But I know people are hating on him and being mad at him, but why? The man did what he wanted. He was going to sit here and be a backup, or he can go to his favorite team growing up and to a team that wanted him to play and not getting replaced. Not mad at him for making that decision, and he won a Super Bowl. Good for him. So congratulations, Kenny.
Yeah, that was something I thought was really cool, man. That they blew him out so bad that he got to take the final knee for his Super Bowl win for his favorite team growing up. Yeah. Congrats, brother. It's interesting when you talk about the quarterback situation, man, because it feels like there's so many different moving pieces. That is Arthur the guy? Is he going to stay? Did we get to see his offense? Do we have the talent on? Do we have the receivers? Like we got Mike Williams. I don't even know what we did with him after that Commanders game. Like, so do we have the receivers? Do we have the O-line? Do we have all those things to where if we get a young buck in here and do that, like... Yeah.
Well, the key is this, and this kind of goes back to the first question about me coaching. And I had this discussion with Ashley, I think during the Super Bowl or yesterday or whatever. You can be a great offensive coordinator. Great scheme, great plays, great everything. If you don't have personnel that can execute your plays, then you're not going to be great. And vice versa. You can have great players that make a coordinator look great. So, Arthur Smith, so I was like, okay, if I were to go be a coordinator, which I'm not.
I was saying, you need a caveat there.
I can design, I can call plays in this, that, and the other. But one of the reasons that I was good at calling plays on my own plays when we were doing no huddles because I was actually executing it as well. And so you have to trust that guy is going to see the field, see the plays the same way that you're seeing it as a coach. If Arthur Smith might be a great coordinator, but guys aren't executing it, whether line aren't blocking it, guys aren't running the right route, the quarterback's not seeing it, whatever it is, we don't know. So could he be a great coordinator that just didn't have personnel, or maybe he's not, and the players were making them look good. So there's so many what ifs, and so you just kind of have to, I don't say take it with a grain of salt, but you got to, you know how you figure those things out by multiple years. Sure. You can't be one and done. Like, you just don't know.
Well, and that's the danger. I want to come back to that, but that's the danger of getting like a young buck to where, unless you trade up for somebody's. I mean, our defense is on some contracts here. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think we have the time to be rebuilding stuff. Like, this is like hey, let's try to win it next year with these guys, man. Because Cam's getting older, TJ's getting like all of these guys. So, and I get asked all the time, like if I meet people out that watch the show, I'm like, hey man, would Ben ever coach? Would Ben be an OC? And I'm confident based upon obviously your expertise. You'd be great at drawing up the schemes. I've gotten to see intimately how you see the game. I think that would be phenomenal, obviously. But I'm like, what you want Ben to do, Ben got to do with his own hands. And I don't know how he teaches that. And he might get a really talented guy, but you can't teach someone else to do what Ben did, even if Ben draws it up. You have to cater some of that to the skill set of the guy. So I think people are like, hey man, just transfer your osmosis, transfer your build. And I'm like, I don't.
It doesn't work like that. No, it doesn't, because there were preseason games where coaches would they'd let me, hey Ben, take this series, and I'd call it, and I'd call a play, and I'm like, oh, this play's gonna be good, but the quarterback didn't go where I would have went with the ball, right. So the play doesn't work, right? And I'm like, that's not what I would have done, and so then you start realizing, man, being a coordinator is so much harder because if you're not on the same page or if you're not doing the same thing, which is why having a relationship with your coordinator is huge, and you can make a lot of things happen when you guys work together. Why I think BA and I were so close and worked well together, and even Coach Randy and stuff. It's you have to have a relationship with those guys because you have to know how each other work. Like those guys have to know, as a coordinator, you have to know what your quarterback likes and doesn't like on third downs or against a blitz or in the red zone. Now you may like it as a coordinator. I mean, I love this play; it's going to work. But if your quarterback or a player doesn't like it, then you've got to figure it out. I've had coordinators that I'll be like, we'll scratch a play, right? We'll go through there, we'll scratch it. And we'll be like a Wednesday practice and we'll call a play. I'm like, coach, I don't like that play. And I knew the coach really liked that play, whether he designed it or it's his thing, where like the next day we'll try it again out of a different formation. And I'd be like, and sometimes I'll be like, coach, it didn't work. What are we doing? And there have been times where it maybe worked. I'm like, okay, I kind of like that. And they're like, okay, good. You got to give it a shot. So it works all different kind of ways. And that's a really long answer for, you just don't know who's, I don't want to say at fault, but why things work and don't work sometimes.
Right. Well, there is nuance to the success, man. It's like playing Madden, but somebody else got the right stick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, I'll take this one and call the play, but you got to make sure you do that thing over there. And that's a relationship that does take time. Like it's not lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, my instinct is like, follow the arrow that I drew up, and the instinct on the field is like, I wanted to go, like that guy came in, I had to go out or whatever. So I think there's nuance to that relationship that breeds the success. So long roundabout ways, you're coming back for another year.
No, I know.
Is that okay?
For this show.
Yeah. Last thing before we get out of here, man. Obviously, faith is a big part of the show and in our lives. I'm going to Braden here on Instagram. They wanted to know, Ben, what did your faith look like growing up? Were you raised in the church?
I was. I grew up with amazing parents. We went to church every Sunday. Wasn't allowed to do things Saturday night if it was going to affect church on Sunday. And so I'm very thankful for them. We all still go to the same church. Not the same church we went to growing up, but like we go to the same church. And so it's important that as it was instilled in me, that we instill into our kids as well, as I know it is for you and all of our close friends. So, yes, I was very lucky to grow up in the church and, just did my best to stay in the church. I think obviously as you, this is, a much longer story at some point, but I think when you go to college and then to an NFL team, your church changes, right? You go to a new city, new town. And so you have to really make a commitment to your faith. And so it's not always the easiest thing to do. And so I can relate to people that sometimes go through ebbs and flows, peaks and valleys with their relationship with the Lord. And so, but as your question was asked, yes, I grew up in the church, and I was am very thankful for that, and my parents for raising me in the church.
Yes. And we actually had a lot of people that, and I obviously didn't get to all of them, but we're going to do family dinner. We're going to take questions from you guys from here on out. So we'll get through as many as we can, but we had a lot of people curious about faith and different aspects of faith and asking more poignant questions about faith and reading the Bible and faith scriptures and stuff like that. So I think one thing that we hold as a core value of this show and in our lives, that if we could pass anything along, is this the significance of community with people that are running in the same direction that you want to end up in. Surround yourself with people. Run the
race together.
Yes. If you are younger people, find older people whose life you want to emulate. If you're older people and you have something to emulate, go find somebody that could use it.
Pass it down.
You know what I mean? Lean on each other. Life is really sad and lonely alone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's not funny, but it's the reality of it. But be there for each other. Church is I would argue, not just a church, like a building, but the church as your people, man. It's part of the human design. Mm-hmm. It's why this show's so much fun.
I know.
Right? Because we're hanging out with y'all.
Yeah. The family.
The last beer. And I thought I'd take it easy on you here.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Right? This one's called Sugar Cookie.
Sugar Cookie.
Yeah. It's ale brewed with natural flavors. I don't think there is natural. I don't think there's anything natural about these flavors. I don't think that's true. It's 5.6%.
Okay.
It's called Sugar Cookie.
I mean, don't hate it. It's not really that good.
So bummed out.
Don't hate it, but it's not nearly as bad as the other ones. Favorite one of the group. Ellicottville Brewing. We love your stuff. This was the unique stuff on purpose, I think. Spence is trying to do that to me. So please do not take this any kind of way. There will be a lot of people that like these three.
Dude, this is great.
This one's not bad. It's not great. It's not bad. It's almost like a graham cracker kind of.
This is delicious.
You gonna drink a bunch of them?
Oh no. No. I could drink this one, but I wouldn't drink. No. You're not doing. I mean, I'm not doing more than one. You
much better than the other ones. Again, just my opinion, but thank you though, Ellicottville Brewing for for making beers that we could sample on the show. Thank you, Evan. Thank you to the Footbahlin Family. That's you guys for this football season. Thank you, Giant Eagle, again for this amazing food. We'll see if we can get Evan to make calzones for you guys. To just, I just made
Evan's calzone zone.
We're inching closer and closer to a cookbook. I think our numbers are getting up there. Well done, family. Looking forward to maybe making that for you guys. Again, the football season is over, but we are not over. We are excited about some upcoming shows. We are going to have some really cool guests coming on, some former Steelers, some people in the music world. We are going to get some cool guests on. So stay tuned to the mystery that is footballing.
Dun, dun, dun. Season 4. What season are we on?
I don't know.
I was going to do it like an Apple TV thing, like season 3, 4.
Oh, right. Well, we don't know because we've never really just continued through the off season. We always stop it.
Yeah.
So we're going to keep it going.
So it's just still season 2.
And
it's like what Yellowstone did in season 5, part 2.
We're going to just keep going. We're going to, and like Spence said, give us your questions because the family dinner we'll try and incorporate a lot more of your guys' questions, thoughts, whatever it is. Could be about any of our F's, our faith, our family, our food, football, and for beer. Whatever you want to do. So thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. You guys don't know how much it means that you guys are part of the family. And until next week, I believe, see you when we see you.